this earth and pick us out and say, you know, I see something really good in you. I see something good in you. I see some potential here. I'm going to give you my salvation. I'm going to give you my grace. No, all have sinned, and everyone who hears about Jesus and receives him, we all come in the same place. We are all dead in our sins, spiritually dead, spiritually separated from God when we come to Jesus Christ. And book of Romans says, even while we were yet sinful, while we were still dead in our sins, Jesus died on the cross for us. It's a gift we could never earn. I think a good illustration of this is that Acts chapter 15, that's the first church council. We've been preaching through Acts, and the beginning of the first Christian church and the Christian movement moved from Jerusalem up through Judea and Samaria. They went to Samaria, and now it's gone around the world. And the problem, the first big church split, are the Jewish people accepted Christ first. But many in that Jewish faith said, okay, we'll go to Gentiles, those that are not Jews, but they have to become Jewish first. They have to follow the Moses law. They have to go to all the sacrifices. They have to worship God using what we call the Old Testament, the Mosaic law. And then they can add to that Jesus the Messiah. That was a big movement going around the world. But the gospel Jesus taught all through his life, and the gospel that came through Acts is everyone comes to Jesus the same. We receive Jesus by faith through grace. And you don't have to become Jewish. And so they had this big council in Acts chapter 15. The people from Judea, Jerusalem, were coming all the way up to Antioch in Syria. And Paul and Barnabas were starting churches there and preaching. And this group was saying, they were going to all these churches and saying, now, Paul and Barnabas got part of the story. Here's the rest of the story. And so they had to have this council. And so in Acts chapter 15, they came teaching, unless you're circumcised and the custom of Moses, you can't be saved. And Paul and Barnabas debated them. So they came down to Jerusalem, and they got all the apostles and elders together. And then verse 5, some of the believers who belonged to the party of the Pharisees said, the Gentiles, non-Jews, must be circumcised and keep the law of Moses. That was the big issue. And then verse 11, Peter, you're familiar with Peter, he stood up and said, no, you don't have to become Jewish. We believe it is through the